Hello, welcome to my channel. Today we have an unsure doe and it says unsure, uncertain. So this means that this person that they found, they're not sure if it is a male or a female, and they're uncertain of the race. So they found the body February 1st, 2005 in Atlanta, Georgia. Estimated age is 20 to 50 years old. Cannot estimate height or weight. And estimated year of death says it could have been anywhere from 1950 to 2005. So it could have been a male or a female, any race, age 20 to 50, estimated. And they're not sure who it is. So it could be almost anybody, right? It could be somebody that wasn't even reported missing. It could be somebody that was traveling through on a Greyhound bus, train, right? Do they have trains there? They have an airport there. It could have, we don't know who it could be, but I have all these tabs open so we could see who was missing. Bones found by a survey worker in the area. And I wish it doesn't have the street or anything like that. Where we go through the missing persons, we'll see, oh, they were last seen at this street. I wish they had the address of where these bones were found. Surveyor worker in the area. There was that guy. That was a survey worker or surveyor. There was a surveyor that went missing. And these bones were found by a surveyor working in the area. Do you think it could be the bones of the surveyor that went missing that another surveyor found? That's one thought, isn't it? Partial skeleton parts only. That's interesting because there was a surveyor that went missing. So that makes you wonder, what if it was that other surveyor that they found? Atlanta, Georgia, which that says here is Fulton County. And so the first missing person we have is Douglas Morris Jarman, went missing December 30th, 2004. 27 years old, Atlanta, Georgia, 5'9" to 5'10", African American male. Last seen leaving his friend's house on Ezra Church Drive in Atlanta. See, we could easily, if we had like a street map hanging on the wall, we could take like a blue tack and put it in there, blue for male and then pink for females, and put it on the address of where they went missing if we had the one for the John Does and the Jane Does, and see which ones were closer and use a different color tack or something. Was last seen leaving a friend's house, Ezra Church Drive in Atlanta, Georgia, December 30th, 2004 at 5:30 p.m. Maybe the investigators do that. They have like a street map with a tag, so they put it on the wall so you can see, or they have it on a computer where they were found in comparison where the person went missing. He was driving a gold 2003 Honda Accord with Georgia license plate number GT5305 at the time. The vehicle was located in DeKalb County, which is like 15, 20 minutes away. And there's another lady that went missing from Atlanta, Georgia, and her vehicle was also found in DeKalb County. That I find very suspicious because this person goes missing and their vehicle found in DeKalb County. And she went missing a different year, but her vehicle was found in DeKalb County. But still, you wonder if somebody did something, maybe it was the same person that did it. Just wild speculation there, wild speculation. Because I seriously doubt it was the same person, but interesting. Black hair, brown eyes, tattoo of barbed wire on his left forearm. And then it mentions the vehicle. If you have any information about him, please contact authorities and let them know. It's been 20 years. They're going to need all the information they can get, even if it's hearsay. You're not going to testify in a court of law. You're just giving them information to let them decide what's relevant and what's important. Mary Ann White, Atlanta, Georgia. She went missing in 2004 as well. She was 37 years old, 5'11", tall woman, tall, beautiful woman, 180 pounds, African American. Last seen at 10 p.m. dropping off an acquaintance in the vicinity of the 1500 block of Olympia Way Southwest in Atlanta, Georgia. Her purple four-door 2000 Saturn LS was later located at her residence in the vicinity of the 1700 block of Northside Drive in Atlanta, Georgia. So we have addresses. This one says Fulton County. Black hair, brown eyes. And the next one we have is Grangie Ward went missing on Valentine's Day. Atlanta, Georgia. 27 years old only. 5'8", 280 pounds. Last seen around 3 p.m. So we have an address in the vicinity of the 2800 block of Springfield Court in Atlanta, Georgia. Black hair, brown eyes. And tattoo of a cross on the middle of his back. Tattoo of a Rottweiler on his right bicep. Tattoo of the name Nita Faye and a cross on his left bicep. And then it talks about his clothing and his jewelry and things like that. And the next one we have is Marcy Peterson went missing from Marietta, Georgia. October 30th, 2003, 28 years old. Cobb County. Last seen at about 11 a.m. in the vicinity of the 2400 block Cumberland Parkway in Marietta, Georgia. She may be in the New York area. Foul play is suspected. Black hair, brown eyes. And talks about her tattoos and clothing and jewelry and things like that. You can pause that and read it if you want. The next one we have is Dimashal. Forgive me if I'm not pronouncing that right, Collins. And she was just 32 years old. She went missing from Atlanta, Georgia. Fulton County. 5'6", only 125 pounds. Last seen driving her red 1990. I don't know if it was hers or, but because here it says hers and somewhere else it says something else. But it was a 1994 Jeep Grand Cherokee at around 11:52 a.m. near the 600 block of Mayland Avenue. And this is the one where her vehicle was found in Decatur, Georgia. Her vehicle was located at the Kensington Apartments. They misspelled it. I don't know why. Near the 3500 block of Clubhouse Drive in Decatur, Georgia. I remember the other man went missing from Atlanta, Georgia, and they found his vehicle in Decatur, Georgia, too. Black hair. Her hair color was colored light brown at the time of her disappearance. And it talks about her tattoos and her clothing and things like that. And next we have Carlos Keith Parker. No picture. So if you have a picture of him, please try to get the investigators to put it on NamUs. He was only 31 years old. He was about 6 foot tall. This one's odd because it says Cobb County, even though it says Atlanta, Georgia. He was last heard from on December 6, 2002. It doesn't give us an address. Black hair, brown eyes, mustache, talks about his scars, and a vehicle. The vehicle goes missing as well. So there's the transportation listed. The next one we have is Michael Way from Atlanta, Georgia, only 24 years old. He had a tattoo of a cross on his back and an image of praying hands on his arm. Is that the third person with a tattoo of a cross on their back that went missing? Is it? Or is that the third person? Second or third? DeKalb County, Atlanta, Georgia. Last seen at 1940 Fisher Road, southeast. Black hair, brown eyes. And Warren Allen Presley, no picture. If you have a picture, try to get it on here. 6'5" to 6'8", very tall, 52 years old. Warren Allen Presley has been missing and his whereabouts unknown to his family since on or about November 21st, 1999. He intended to spend the night at the Riverview Hotel on St. Mary's Island, Georgia. Although there was a reservation for him at the hotel, he did not arrive at the hotel. A police search of the area was unsuccessful. However, they did find his 1999 Chrysler Sebring at the St. Andrews picnic area on the south end of Jekyll Island after his family received a letter from Warren directing her to the location of the abandoned vehicle with instructions to retrieve 2 large boxes and 1 small box from the trunk of the car. The family was instructed not to open the boxes, but to return them to a friend, stating the contents of the boxes belonged to said friend. A private investigator was hired to help locate Warren, but both the investigator and the police were unsuccessful in their efforts to locate him. Now it makes me wonder if his remains were in the boxes. Hair color: sandy hair, full hair, white hair, brown eyes, eyeglasses. Okay, so I just want to mention, I opened it at the end. There was a John Doe found in Savannah, Georgia in 2005. Partial skeleton parts only. A cranium was found on the island in the Savannah River. Is that near where he might have gone missing? I think it might have been. Okay. Next one we have Tamikra Rogers. She went missing July 22nd, 1999 from East Point, Georgia. 24 years old, 5'11". Last seen at her home in the vicinity of the 2700 block of Blount Street, East Point, Georgia. Her mother stated that she left at around 5:30 a.m. to catch the bus to go to work. However, she never made it to work that day. Isn't that strange? Brown hair, brown eyes, 2 freckles directly above right eye, single dark freckle. And it talks about her clothing. She was wearing work boots. A ring with a purple stone worn on right hand. Wears watch on left wrist. Work boots. Size 10.5. 5'11". Then we have Whitney Reddick, went missing from Lithonia, Georgia in 1998. 26 years old. 5'2", 120 pounds. Left the High Point Apartments complex on Young Road en route to her home at about 9:30 p.m. Never made it home, has never been seen or heard from since, did not report for work, didn't contact her roommate or family, out of character, as she is very reliable and responsible. Black hair, brown eyes. Daniel Gable, no photo. Please, if you have a photo, please try to get it on. Please try to get the investigators to put it on to NamUs. 46 years old, Marietta, Georgia, Cobb County, 5'7". Doesn't really give information much. Date of last contact, December 20th, 1996. Last seen at the Marietta Greyhound bus station on the South Marietta Parkway. Was he going somewhere by Greyhound bus, or did he work there? Brown hair, blue eyes. Why was he at the Greyhound station? Was he picking somebody up? Alvin Dell Giddens, 45 years old, Marietta, Georgia, 1996. Last seen by a friend. Evidence at his residence indicates foul play. Brown hair, green eyes, droopy eyes. Let's see. Branville Bernard Role, forgive me, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Went missing in 1986 from Stell, Georgia. He was 22 years old. Just said he was last seen at his home. He left with an acquaintance and he's not been seen since. Black hair and small braids, brown eyes. And talks about his clothing. You can pause this and read it if you like. Velda Huff went missing from Clarkstown, Georgia. In 1996, she was 31 years old, 5'5". Have I seen this one before? I don't even remember if I've seen this one before. Last seen sometime in the year of 1996. Did I do a video on her? Why do I not? Those are some small pictures. Very small pictures. Okay. Brian Hobbs went missing from Stone Mountain, Georgia, 6'3" to 6'4". He's been missing since August 29th, 1984. His car was found abandoned on Gresham Road in DeKalb County. 2 agencies are investigating. Went missing from Stone Mountain, Georgia, and they found his vehicle in DeKalb County. See? Black hair, may wear mustache, brown eyes. Shannon, I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name, went missing from Atlanta, Georgia, only 19 years old in 1994. She was a sophomore at Emory University and was employed at the now defunct Softball Country Club on North Decatur Road in Atlanta, Georgia. She was employed as a scorekeeper and sports equipment salesperson. She arrived for her shift at about 8:40 a.m. She agreed to keep score during a game at field number 1 after her employer mistakenly slated her for a shift after a scheduling conflict. She worked until 12:40 p.m. that day. She was seen shortly thereafter across the street from the club at the Citgo gas station where she purchased a soft drink. She took a lunch break and was never seen again. They found her car parked at a nearby Citgo gas station, unlocked with the keys in the ignition. In August 2004, 10 years later, Calvin Butch Hinton was charged with her abduction and murder. He was convicted in September 2005. He stated he lured her into his car, then forced her to drive to his home and raped her at knife point before strangling her. He stated he burned her body and discarded the ashes. In light of his confession, authorities are renewing the search for her remains. Brown hair, brown eyes. White tennis shoes. That is so horrific. Hazel Smith went missing from Atlanta, Georgia in 1993. 40 years old, only 5'1". Last seen walking in the vicinity of the 1900 block of Baker Road, northwest in Atlanta, Georgia, February 5th, 1993. Bridget Clodfelter, Smyrna, Georgia, 27 years old, September 5th, 1992. Last seen between 12:30 a.m. and 1 a.m. on Saturday, September 5th. She left her apartment on Lake Park Drive, walking to the Buckboard, a local country dance bar about a mile away. She was to meet her friends there, but she never arrived. She's never been seen or heard from since. Strawberry bleach blonde hair. It makes me wonder if that same man that did that to that other girl, both in Smyrna, Georgia, that might be far away. I don't know. Okay, so Dennis Lawrence from Marietta, Georgia, 45 years old, August 11th, 1992. Left the apartment to go to the bowling alley and never returned. Bowling alley. Christopher Zahn from Atlanta, Georgia, April 28th, 1992. 21 years old. Last seen at American Hotel across the street from a bus station. It mentioned somebody else at a bus station too went missing in Atlanta after traveling from Jacksonville, Florida via bus. The Atlanta Police Department, the Cobb County Sheriff's Department, GBI, are investigating his disappearance. He was last heard from April 28th while he was visiting Atlanta. Police suspect foul play was involved and need the public's help in obtaining information that might lead them to the location of his body. Last heard from at 4:15 p.m. when he placed a call to his travel agent in Orange County, Florida, from a telephone at the Denny's restaurant on Mountain Industrial Boulevard in Tucker, Georgia. Brown hair, brown eyes. Last seen wearing a turquoise cap and blue jeans. Cheryl Parks went missing from Atlanta, Georgia in 1992. Last seen leaving her boyfriend's apartment on Southeast Fern Avenue. January 10th, 1982, about 11 p.m. She was en route to a party, but never arrived. She resided at the 1240 block of Southeast Hill Street at the time of her disappearance. She has 2 children and was employed at the cafeteria at Morehouse College in 1992. Unknown address for the party or the person throwing the party. Was there a party? Black hair, brown eyes, pierced ears. Lydia McDuffie went missing from Atlanta, Georgia, August 18th, 1991, 5'8". She was last seen August 18th, 1991, near her Techwood home in Atlanta, Georgia, talking to a friend. Her mother reported her missing 2 days later after she failed to come back for her children and failed to show up at her job at the Comfort Inn on North Avenue. Black hair, brown eyes. I hear about that one man killing that girl, and I wonder if he killed anybody else before that. So every time I hear this, I'm like, well, I wonder if that same guy did something. But it could be something completely different. Twyla K. Mickey went missing from Doraville, Georgia, November 30th, 1989. 30 years old, 5'7". Last seen at a motel getting into a pickup truck. She has not been seen or heard from since November 30th, 1989. Strawberry blonde hair, blue eyes. Alan Lee Morse from Austell, Georgia, October 1st, 1989, 19 years old. He was last seen in Austell. At the time, he was an air traffic controller. He came home to visit his parents and his family because he was on leave, and then he told his mother he would see her at Christmas and left. His mother thought his father was taking him, and his father thought his mother was taking him. Isn't that what it said? Yeah, to the airport. And they haven't seen him since. Brown hair, brown eyes. 1989. They haven't seen him since. So who took him? Whoever was the person that really took him, it makes me feel like maybe something happened to him. And they didn't want the parents to know they were taking him because they had bad intentions, right? Latrice Hunter, just wild speculation again. Latrice Hunter missing from Atlanta, Georgia, 36 years old, 5'3", 140 pounds. Last seen on May 19, 1989, when she left 612 Moreland Avenue Southeast on her way to the Fair Bottom Street area of Atlanta, Georgia. Black hair, brown eyes. Very sad. Russell J. Chase, Marietta, Georgia, 20 years old. So young. Date of last contact, January 18th, 1989. Fulton County Police recovered his vehicle on January 25th, 1989. It doesn't say where. Don't you wonder if it was in DeKalb County? Okay, so Nancy Williams, we'll just say Nancy Williams, went missing from Sandy Springs, Georgia. That's pretty much Atlanta. March 1st, 1988. Fulton County. She was living with her boyfriend in Sandy Springs, Georgia. Her family has not heard from her since March 1988. Why didn't her boyfriend report her missing? So her family says it's uncharacteristic of her to be out of touch with them for so long. Reddish brown hair, was bleached blonde in 1988, blue eyes. Tattoo of the letters JENFR across her knuckles. Laura Hill, East Point, Georgia, November 5th, 1986. 30 years old, 5'3", black hair, brown eyes, gold front tooth, protruding chin, scar on left knee. Where's the circumstances? Oh, there's none. Just says last seen, November 5th. No picture either. So if you have a picture, please try to get the investigators to put it on NamUs. And if you can't, try to get it on the Doe Network and the Charlie Project, which I would do anyway. Tommy Dean Wampler, Marietta, Georgia, November 1st, 1984. Previously lived in Fernando Beach, Florida, and St. Simons Island, Georgia. He also has family ties to Arkansas. He was last seen in Marietta, Georgia, and last contacted family in November of 1984. So if he went to St. Simons Island, then his remains could have been found there. Sandy hair, blue eyes. Rhonda Smith went missing from Atlanta, Georgia in 1984. 21 years old, 6 foot tall. Last seen February 27, 1984, her automobile was found locked and abandoned in a parking deck at Lenox Square in Atlanta. She had reportedly left her home in Coweta County, Georgia to go shopping and has never been seen or heard from since. Black hair, short cropped black hair, brown eyes. Tattoo of a rose on her chest, 2 earrings in each ear, olive skin tone. Smokes cigarettes, talks about her clothing and her vehicle. Mark Alden DeWitt from Marietta, Georgia, September 2nd, 1983, 25 years old, 6 foot tall. Last seen on Friday, September 2nd, 1983. Left a friend's apartment to run an errand and was supposed to be back in a couple of hours, but he was never seen again. Black hair, brown eyes. Did drive a 1968 gray Mercedes-Benz sedan that has been recovered. Patricia Faulkner went missing from Marietta, Georgia, 35 years old, 1977, 5'1". Her husband, Richard, reported that he awoke to find that sometime during the night his wife left the residence and has never been seen or heard from since. That's strange. Short brown hair, hazel eyes. I would never leave in the middle of the night. And if I was going to leave in the middle of the night, I would certainly tell my husband. I would make my husband go with me. I would be waking him up. I'm not going to leave and not, I don't know. Anyway, that's just me, so. Sandra Nadine Landrum, Union City, Georgia, 18 years old, 1975. Walking to a payphone located at a Dairy Queen, half a block from her home, and she never returned. She just went to use the phone and disappeared. Wow, barefoot. She went to use the phone barefoot and disappeared. No picture. Frances Kerfman, no picture. Austell, Georgia. Please, if you have a picture, try to get the investigators put on NamUs. Frances was employed in the administrative offices of Six Flags Over, Georgia, in a full-time position. She was living with her parents in Carroll County, Georgia, at the time of her disappearance. She drove her parents' car to work that day. She mentioned that she probably was going to spend the night, or she might spend the night with a coworker. So her parents, they weren't worried when she didn't come home. But she didn't go back to work and she didn't call them, so then they became worried. And her parents' car was found at the then Holiday Inn on Fulton Industrial Boulevard about 5 days later. It says Fulton Industrial Drive, but it means Fulton Industrial Boulevard. So she disappeared. Black hair, green eyes. If you have a picture, please try to get it put on NamUs or Doe Network, Charlie Project. If you have any information, please contact authorities. Gloria Baird went missing in 1969 from Atlanta, Georgia. 23 years old. Last seen at a party. It has been stated that she left the party with 3 men. She had joined the army a few months prior and was listed as AWOL. She was on an approved leave at the time she disappeared, though. So, her abandoned Volkswagen Beetle was found on the side of the road in Georgia, though no one saw. It doesn't say where, what city, what county, just found on the side of the road somewhere. When she disappeared, she left behind a 2-year-old daughter. No description of the men either. Light brown hair, blue eyes, scar on the right side of her face under her chin. 1969. Wow. Mary Shotwell Little went missing in 1965 from Atlanta, Georgia. 25 years old. She purchased groceries after work, then met a coworker for dinner at the Piccadilly cafeteria. I love the Piccadilly cafeteria in the Lenox Square Shopping Center in the upscale Buckhead neighborhood of Atlanta. Mary was reportedly in good spirits at the time. She was speaking happy about her married life. She walked back to her car after dinner at about 8 p.m. She's never been heard from since. A gas station in Charlotte showed her car had been used in the early morning the next day, just a few hours after she was last seen at Lenox Square. The card was used again several hours later in Raleigh with what appeared to be Little's signature. It sounds like she might have been abducted. Light brown hair, green eyes, also described as hazel. So sad. There's the vehicle, 1965 Mercury Comet. But I think that they found the vehicle, right? I think they found the vehicle there. I think she was in a different vehicle. I think she was abducted, if I remember right, but I'm not positive, so. And then there's that John Doe that I added. So if you have any information about who this John Doe or Jane Doe could be, please contact authorities. If you have any information about any of those missing persons, any information, maybe you're not sure if it's relevant, you feel like maybe it's insignificant, maybe you knew where they worked, where they spent time at, maybe you knew their regular schedule, maybe they went bowling certain days or to the movies, or I don't know, just any information that you have. Maybe you overheard somebody talking. Maybe somebody got drunk one time and told you this information, sobered up and said, oh, they were just talking because they were drinking. It wasn't true. But then you're wondering if it was. Any information you have at all, please contact authorities. Let them know. Let them know if it's hearsay. It's only, if you hear on TV, if you're in a court of law, that you can't say something because it's hearsay. But if you're giving investigators information and it's hearsay, you can let them know, hey, it's hearsay, and let them make notes of it and let them decide what's relevant and what's important, And don't forget to pray for their families and their loved ones, because each of these people has family members. They might be someone's son, their daughter, their grandma, their aunt, their mother. They have loved ones who haven't had closure, who don't know what happened. So please don't forget to pray for their families, and feel free to leave comments and have a blessed day. Bye-bye.